Okay. Okay, welcome, folks. Tonight is August 27, 2009. This is a public hearing for the City of Lowell Zoning Board of Appeals. Anybody wishing to address the board tonight, please remember that you're going to have to step up to the podium and state your name and address for the record, please. If you don't do that, we're going to have to interrupt you because there are viewers watching at home, and it's important that you stand in front of the podium as you speak. There are only 3 matters on tonight. I'm going to take them in opposite order because of the expected time that they're going to take. The first petition I'm going to call is ZB 2008-30. That's an affirmation reconsideration of a previous decision. The petition is, the applicant is Valley Properties, Inc., and the location is 1201 Bridge Street, also known as 1235 Bridge Street. The petition was to allow a special permit for a drive-through pharmacy according to Section 12.4, a variance to exceed the required tree spacing according to Section 6.9.1, and a variance to exceed the maximum required curb cut and access drive as part of the reconfiguration and rebuild of an existing shopping center according to Section 6.1.10 of the zoning ordinance. And I'm going to read a letter into the record dated July 27th, addressed to Mr. Stephen Geary, Chairman, Zoning Board of Appeals. Dear Mr. Geary and board members, Valley Property, Inc. respectfully request the extension of the approvals issued for the above referenced cases as issued by the City of Lowell Zoning Board of Appeals. These reference cases involve the granting of special permits and 2 variances associated with the proposed redevelopment of Sunrise Shopping Center. Before I go any further, is there any representative of Valley Properties here? And since there's not, the board will just consider the granting of an extension for this consideration. So, any comments, Bill?
No, no comments, Mr. Chairman.
Vesna?
No, sir, no comment.
Corey?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, yes, I understand a project of this magnitude can take a little time. That's understandable, and I definitely would see it clear to grant the extension. That's no problem.
Okay, Kevin, anything?
I'm in support of the extension, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, and Rick?
All set, Mr. Chairman, no comments.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, with that being said, I'll make a motion to approve the extension.
6-month
For a
extension?
period of 6 months, yes.
Okay.
Second the motion.
And Stephanie, a roll call, please?
Approve extension.
Approve.
Approve 6-month extension?
Approve the extension.
Approved 6-month extension.
Okay, that matter has been approved for a 6-month extension. There'll be no further notices. Anybody wishing to address the board should check the agenda in approximately 6 months when the matter will be recalled. The next matter I'm going to take is ZB 2009, number 37, a special permit and variance request. The applicant is Miroslav Kobalinski, and if I said that properly, and the address is 161 Lakeview Ave. The petition would like to convert a 2-family to a 3-family dwelling with insufficient lot area per dwelling unit according to Section 5, Article 5, Section 5.1, and with insufficient off-street parking according to Section 6.1.4. Welcome, sir.
Welcome.
You might want to pull the mic down a little, sir, just so you can. And please state your name and address, if you could, for the record.
Yes, this is 161, 163 Lakeview Avenue in Lowell.
Mm-hmm.
And before I bought the house, this was actually the house. It was like there was like a 5 apartments house, and the house it has 3 floors. It's all separate. Like I have 2 egresses each apartment, and 3 in one apartment had 3 egresses. And actually, this is like I have some pictures actually here, and this is like.
You can bring those up. Okay.
There was a parking made. It's like it's not. It was the previous owner. He made like 6 parking lot, but it's this half of this is like Section A parking spots, and they actually I'm trying to like work out with them to buy the land is already paved, and we have three different floors, and we have a all different heating system with 3 bedrooms each apartment.
Okay.
And it's like actually I was because before was like a one commercial, it was a 2-family house, and I don't know when they stopped using this for the commercial. It's like I have no in the record.
When did you purchase the home, sir? Approximately.
A few months, probably 6. February 27th.
Of this year?
This year, yes.
Okay, well, who was the person or the company that you
We
purchased?
bought for the bank.
Oh, that was
The
bank
bank owned it,
okay.
yes.
Okay. Now these, I'm going to pass these around to the other board members, but Stephanie, these pictures will become part of the record? Go ahead, sir.
And
So,
I just for beginning I was actually before I bought the property I came to the city and I talked to the old. I know this was a lot of like stuff done illegal over there, and I just tried to make this legal. I was thinking for beginning like maybe one commercial, but it's the zoning change 5 years ago, and now we cannot even go back to the commercial zone, and that's why we have 3 different floors. We try to make like a 3-family house, because it's kind of big house. It's like it has like almost 4,000 square feet house.
right. Were you aware of the zoning, the current zoning law when you purchased it?
Yes, I knew that. Yes.
Yeah. So right now, my understanding is it's vacant. There's
Yes, I have no. Yes, there's nobody live there now. Right
and
now.
there's nobody been living there for quite a while.
Yes, exactly.
So you'd like to make it from what it's legally
Legally 2-family. There was like 5 apartments unlegal over there.
right. So
Now-
you want to make it from a
3-family.
legal 2-family to a
3-family.
proposed 3-family.
Yes, exactly.
And what's the history of it? You know, or
There was an issue. Biggest issue was in the parking lot.
yeah.
Because they required now for 2 parking spots
Right,
for
per-
each apartment, which is we actually have it there, but it's not legal.
Mm-hmm.
And we have actually this is pretty big street now. We have like even 2 spots on the front of the house, but I'm not even count on them. But it's already paid for 6 parking spots behind the building.
Okay.
And I try to work out to the Section 8 now to try to buy the house from the Lowell Housing Authority.
Did you have an opportunity to speak with anybody in the
Yes, I
in
did.
the neighborhood
I
group
forgot
or neighbors?
the person name, but I speak with them, and this has to be like a special auction. You go for the auction and buy, but it's gonna take a while, and it's like I keep paying the taxes, and we have no any income from the property.
Right. I know. I understand.
And we're trying like work with them because the lower house authority, the next house for our house.
I guess my question was, did you get a chance to speak to any of your abutters about what you might want to do? Do you have any support for the project, or?
Yes, we have to apply to how to name it.
No, I know you have to apply for Section 8 if that's what you're talking about, to get tenants. But what I'm saying is, for your project, for your proposal here tonight, did you get an opportunity, have you had an opportunity to speak with, say, the neighborhood group or anything like that that may oppose it? Because I sense that there might be a little bit of opposition to your project. So I don't know if you understand that sometimes when people are proposing a project, it's sometimes a good idea to feel out the neighborhood to see if they have any suggestions as to what they'd like to see. You know, I don't think, has anybody contacted you about that?
No.
Okay. All right, Bob, do you have any information on the history of this property that might help us, or?
Yeah, I have 2 letters, one from 1999, 1998. First one's from 98, and the second one is from 2002. In one case, in fact, in both cases, the previous owners were cited for having more units, change of use, illegal change of use, on these 2 letters. Also, on the plan submitted, I noticed that it shows that the engineer's office also pointed out too, there's 5 residential units to be converted to 4 residential units, which contradicts the application.
Now, I noticed that earlier. Sir, are you aware of that your plan calls for 4 and your application requests 5, so it's, your plan doesn't match up with what you're requesting.
On the beginning, I was thinking of 4-family, but when I talked to a few people, and even the plumbers, they check all the plumbing system, it's all really set up for 3 families. It's 4-family would be too much, no? And it's like,
Okay.
I try to make this easier than, it's like, it's 4-family, I would say it's too much, no?
First we make the plans.
I was making the plans for 4-family. That was my first thing in my mind, but it was 3 floors, 3 different floors, and it's 3 kitchens. It's not like it. And I think it's easy even for parking. It's too many people, and I would say it's 3-family. It's perfect for the whole house.
Okay. Is there anything, I think, is your wife have anything that you have to say? She's been talking in the background, so I can't hear what she's saying.
Because I was talking in the city and we thought
Ma'am, you have to
maybe we can have a variance for 1 parking
Can I just
for
say-
each family.
You have to state your name and your address for the record again. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you have
My
to
name
do
is
that.
Teresa Kobylinska, and I would like say, because we was thinking maybe we can have variance for 1 parking for each family, if that is possible, because we have for sure 3 space, 1 more because we take down we had before the shed next to the house, we take it off the shed, so we have 1 more space. We remove the shed, so we have
So you
right
think
now.
you may have 4 spaces?
Yes, because we don't have shed right now.
We remove the shed.
You can see even on the pictures, there is not shed anymore. Just we will still working and thinking what we can do to have this house working, because right now we have 1 floor which is not commercial, not residential, and we cannot do anything there. It's empty floor. We cannot.
I don't know if it's
Legally.
possible. I mean, I'm looking at the plan, and I'm not an engineer, but I don't know if it's possible to meet your parking requirements with what you have. You may be able to, you may not. I'm just saying that if you remove the shed,
Yes.
clearly you have a better shot at meeting your parking requirements, and then you still have the square footage per dwelling unit variance that you'd be requesting. So it appears as though your plans need to maybe be updated a little with more consistent with what your application says. For one thing, just as a a suggestion, you may want to talk to Mr. Stepinski, whoever else did this property or did this engineering, and see if you can maybe try to address the parking issues more clearly and have it amended so it doesn't reflect 4 units when you're requesting only 3. And then
Yeah.
we have a better idea, because it's hard for this board to make a decision when you've applied for one thing and given us paperwork supporting something else. I know we can easily say, okay, we can mark it up, but until an engineer fits it on the plan, we don't know that it can actually fit. And I'm not saying that's the end of your struggle. Then you've got the square footage per dwelling unit issue, and I'm not sure, what the issues are with that yet, because we really haven't gone into that. So, is there anything else you'd like to tell me before we open it up to the board members and some?
No.
Okay, well, stay close, because you may have to answer some questions and be around, okay?
Okay.
right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bill, do you have anything to say? Any questions to the applicant?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chairman. The purpose of the pitches for the rear of the building, was that to indicate the number of parking that you currently have, or was that just to give us an idea of what you have in the back?
I just want to give you an idea how this looks like behind the house. It's right now it's already like 5 parking spots over there, and I know this is not legal. It's only legal my 3 parking spots. It's not mine. It was paved like 10, 15 years ago. I have no idea how long they used it. I just want you have to an idea how this looks like behind the house.
So you're indicating that you have, how many parking spots do you think you
It's
currently have?
5 behind. It's 5
5?
parking spots. Yes.
Okay. So to the chairman's point, in the plans that were submitted, I see existing 3 parking spaces.
Yes, exactly.
Where-
It's
Where would the other 2 be?
It's section A. This is not the property. The rest of the property doesn't belong to me. They use it for years. I don't know how they did it. They use it for years. It's not my property. It's like they would never.
Didn't you say that there may be a chance to acquire that property?
That's what I'm trying to do right now, actually.
And what is the, Bill, I'll let you keep going in a second, but that came up. But if you could acquire that property, clearly it gives you a lot of parking.
It
But
would
here's
give
the
me much
question-
more. It would be giving me much more than I needed because I could even put even 2 more than I.
Right, but when is the date of possible acquisition? I mean, is there,
They said they don't know. It's gonna take long time. That's why I apply for the hearing before I do anything because it can take 6 months to a year or 2 years. They don't know. They say they don't do it usually. They don't do it usually. It takes a time.
okay.
And I mean, pay taxes for me right now. Have no people living there. It's like
Okay.
It's really will be killing.
All right. You've said, sir, are you waiting?
I'm with them.
You're with them? Is there anything you'd like to say that?
Here for a while. Well, the only thing he was trying to, Steve Johns, I'm a real estater, I've been working with him on this property. What he's saying basically is that Lynn Housing owns a piece of property back there. This was paved many, many years ago, and the property has been used as a parking area. It doesn't affect Lynn Housing. They don't have an issue with them using it. To buy it from the city, or from Lynn Housing, Lowell Housing, I apologize, they have to go through Boston. So it's gonna take some time. It could take a year, it could take 2 years. They're not have any issues with the property being used as parking space because of the way it was conformed. I mean, they can't obviously give a letter to say that or state that at this time, but they will try to go forward because there's no reason for them not to sell it, but it's just procedure and it takes time, unfortunately, and that's what he's trying to do. But
Okay.
his clear point is he's just trying to make a 3-family out of the property. That's where it was set up because it's on 3 different floors, and I was just listening. I understand about the square footage and everything you're looking for, so I can help him get that information on that.
Okay.
So-
So if you stand by as well, and I'll let Bill finish his question.
So, Mr. Chairman, if I heard correctly, the land to be purchased, if that happens, that's going to gain you 2 spaces?
It's gonna give us probably 3 or 4 spaces more. It's really because it's paid 5 spaces, and we have plus. We have you can see in the picture. It's like the woods over there. It's like a bushes there. It's like a little more land. Probably giving almost double what I have, more than double.
In your application, you also mentioned about 3 gas meters.
Yes, this is I don't know what they did. I wasn't there. I wasn't the previous owner. They set already for the 4 meters. They try to make a 4-family or something because they have even extra furnace there set up already. They never connected. I don't know what happened. Probably they stopped the work, the city or whatever. And it's really set for 3 families. It's 3 different zones and 3 different heating system. Whatever you look like a 3 floors. It's 2 bathrooms on the 2nd floor, and 1 bathroom on the 1st floor, and 1 bathroom on the 3rd floor, and 3 kitchens. It's really set like it's 9 bedrooms. It's like each floor had 3 bedrooms.
Well, I guess the only other thing I'd add, Mr. Chairman, to your point, I would like to see a new set of plans if we're going to have this come before us, and maybe even a new application, that everything ticks and ties here, because I think there's still some areas that I might even have further questions on, and I'll turn it over to the other board members.
Okay, Vesna?
I do agree with Bill and you, Mr. Chairman, that a new set of plans need to be drawn, presented to this board. And even with the new set of plans, I'm not comfortable voting on the parking issues. I would encourage you then to approach or chase after the low housings to purchase that properties, so that with this property you may have an additional parking, and that may ease some of concern that this board have with regard to parking. For now, I would say you go draw new plans and come back with not sure whether or not this board will agree to it, and that include myself. And that's all I have to comment, Mr. Chairman.
And the other thing, and maybe if the housing authority would enter into a lease with you, even if it's long-term, and a lease to own, or some sort of mechanism where we can rely on it, because if you say they're letting us park there, we have to consider that as though you have no parking there, because at any minute, they could tell you you can't park there. So we'd put you in a bad spot if we approved it based on that extra lot.
That's why I'm not even consider the parking. That's what I apply for the B variance. No, that's why I didn't concern that I have extra parking. I
Right.
just apply for the B variance. I have 3 spots. That's what's my application for actually.
Okay.
That's what I know that I do, but it's not legal. That's why I just mentioned this because I have it, but it's not on my application. I apply for the B variance to have only 3 parking spots. That's what my application.
What we're trying to suggest is possible solutions to your problems, because I sense you have some opposition to your project, and if you can overcome that by alleviating some of the problems, then maybe you won't have as much opposition, or maybe they'd have a reasonable alternative to what you're suggesting. So we're just giving you suggestions as a board, and you can do what you want with it. Okay, Corey?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chairman. I'm in agreement with the other board members. The plans are inconsistent with one another, so that definitely needs to be revised. And as you stated earlier, that's not the end of his struggles, Mr. Chairman, by any means. Secondly, I mean, I visited the property today, and I spent some time with the owners on site, and you know, they purchased a home. They're looking to do the right thing. But I certainly can't see it clear to put 3. You're looking for 3 3-bedroom units now, correct?
Yes, all 3 floors. They have each of them had 3.
3 bedrooms.
3
okay,
bedrooms.
well,
Yes.
I can't, I mean, you only got 3 parking spaces. I was there today, and you have more than that technically that you're so-called allowed to use. And that's,
Exactly.
I was there. It looks like basically it's yours, but
Yes.
in actuality, it's not.
I know.
And,
That's why I apply for the B variance.
Well, I mean, I can't at this point take that chance of approving a 3-family and those cars ending up on the street. It's just, I mean, the land is there to perhaps do what you're looking to do. It may or may not be. I'm not an engineer. But as the chairman stated, you know, if you can contact housing and get a short-term lease before you buy, would make me a lot more comfortable. I need to see something on paper that things are progressing, and it may look like you're going to acquire the property, would help your situation here. But at this time, with 3 spaces, 3 units, 3 bedrooms per unit, I certainly can't support that. But we'll see how the other board members feel. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Kevin?
I would just echo the sentiments of the other board members around the, having some indication of the additional opportunity for parking, because I share the same concerns with the 9 bedrooms here. There's really insufficient parking. I'd like to understand a bit more about the layout of the building as well, the interior, and see consistent plans before I could make an informed judgment here. Thank you.
Rick?
Through you, Mr. Chairman. Are you going to live there, or is this going to be rental property?
Or the rental property.
It's going to be rental property? I want to ask the real estate agent a question.
Yes.
What did you list that property as? Multi-unit, 2-family, 3-family, 4-family, 5-family?
We didn't list it, but when it was listed, they actually listed it as a 3-family.
Is it 3? No, it's only a legal 2-family.
It's a legal 2-family.
Correct.
But that's all he could do right now, correct?
Yeah. All right. I know your parking it isn't going to work out over there. A question to the building commissioner, Bob. They're showing 3 feet away from the back of the building. They need 5 or 10, right, for fire safety?
For parking?
Yes.
That's correct.
So he loses 5 or 10 on each side of the building. It's a tough call out there. I echo the same comments as my fellow board members. It's going to be tough out there to get a 3-family out there. I'm sure if we could work with the Lowell Housing Authority, get you more parking, but I think it's a little bit much. Those are my comments, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
No, I think the board might be willing to consider to give you a continuance for a month or so to have you look into it and see, you know, maybe get some questions answered, get a more definitive plan drawn up, and look at some other options. But one question, did you say it was listed as a three-family?
Originally it was, and then when we looked into it, I informed the other realtor that it wasn't. It was only a legal two-family.
Oh, so it was changed then?
It was changed at that time.
Prior to him buying it?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I understand your situation, so you bought a big property that you thought would be at least a three-family, and I'm sure there's some concerns that we're going to hear in a few minutes. So I think what would be considering as a board is maybe give you a continuance. We could do a little research through the building department. You could do your own research with your engineer and figure out maybe if this could be laid out better. I don't know if the front part could be, anything you could do creatively to make it less of a burden on the streets as far as additional parking, and maybe you'd have a better shot, but you may change your mind after, you hear what anybody else has to say. So, before I open it up to the public, actually, we'll open up to the public now, but I have a question. Can I first see a show of hands as to anybody here in favor of this petition? In favor, that would like to speak? That hasn't spoken already? Okay, so the board recognizes that there are no folks wishing to speak in favor of the petition at this point. Can I see a show of hands of anybody who is prepared to speak in opposition of this petition? So I count 4, and so if I could ask Mrs. Page to come up first. It's just, it's going to be a hot night. Everybody to repeat the same thing, we're likely to get a continuance, Anne Marie, so that's...
My name is Anne Marie Page. I live at 26 Fremont Street, and I'm on the board of the Centerville Neighborhood Action Group. We have quite a few questions. Are we looking at a 3-family or a 4-family? Is it a legal 2-family now, or is it an illegal 2-family? We're already too congested in that neighborhood, and the width between this building and the wonderful bar room aside of it is about the width of this podium. It is full with tonic cans, beer cans, cigarettes, anything else you can think of. Has the land been surveyed? Does he really know what is his and what belongs to Lowell Housing? Because if it belongs to Lowell Housing, it should stay with Lowell Housing. That land was designated for Lowell Housing for good reason. If you're going to put in 3 bedrooms, 1 car isn't going to make it. Is the parking 1 car, or is it 1.5 cars? Or with 3 bedrooms per unit, how many cars are we really talking? Is this landlord going to live there? No. Is he an absentee landlord? Wow, just what we need in Centerville, right? My question is this. What needs to be done? We are way too congested in Centerville now. You know it, I know it, and everybody in this room knows it. We have limited parking now. Unless he plans to park it on the roof, I don't know where else you're going to put it. There's limited parking in the back of that building, right? And if I owned that building, I'd have somebody sweeping it at least every other day because of the mess that comes from all the cigarette butts from the bar room next door. They have to come outside to smoke. Last Monday, we checked out the building, the alleyway, and the front sidewalk. Neither had ever seen a broom. So we want a good neighbor, a friendly neighbor, a clean and neat neighbor, and we do not need another 3-family in that area. We are congested enough. Believe me, we are. I thank you very much for your time.
Okay, I think for the questions, Emery, your first couple questions were what? I think it's answered. It's zoned, it's right now currently a legal 2-family.
Okay,
What they're requesting is a 3-family, not a 4-family. I think you made some reference to, the bar and some, I think that's really not fair to the applicant in a way because that's the bar. There's nobody living there right now. So my sense would be if that property were redeveloped, somebody's investing a lot of money into it, my guess would be it would be in better condition and better cared for than it is right now as a vacant building. I understand your position about, 2-family to 3-family and the congestion issue, which, if he owned the adjacent lot for Lowell Housing Authority, it would make a huge difference to us and probably to you as well, because it would be more parking than he needed. But you had another question in the middle there that I think Maybe
I
Mr. Camacho
was
could
ju-
answer.
I was curious as to exactly how much land, was the land surveyed, and how much really belongs to that piece of property, not including Lowell Housing Authority?
Right.
And that driveway can only take one car. It could take 1, 2, 3, park one behind the other, but it's not the width of 2 cars going in.
Okay,
right?
and I think that we do have a certified plot plan on the property. Was it, 1 second,
Right,
please?
if you park one behind the other.
Right,
In
well, I'm
other
just-
words, if the guy inside wants to get out, the other 2 have to move. I don't think you have enough room for 2 cars side by side in
Yeah.
the driveway going in. You have room in the back, but to get to the back, it's about the width of 1 car.
Right, the parking, it's not coming in from Lakeview Ave, you know that, right? It goes in from over here, I believe, right? Is that,
No, Mr. Chairman,
Who's off
the
Lakeview?
driveway comes in from Lakeview Ave, yes. That will not be used for parking from what I
right, that's
see.
not going to be used, the parking is
No,
then when you drive
He's
through
talking
there.
about the back,
Right,
right.
okay.
We can't take a 3-family in that area. I don't care what you say, or what you do, or what you put on paper. We live there. We see it, and we know it can't take a 3-family. And it certainly can't take 3 units with 3 bedrooms each. That's beyond. You know how congested we are. You go over there and look around. You know we are very, very congested in that area, and especially where that building is. 2-family, fine. Fix it up, have somebody live there and take care of it, because it wasn't taken care of before. So if somebody's going to live there and take care of it on 2-family, that may work very well and may be a nice piece of property. I feel bad for them living next to that bar room that gives us a lot of trouble. So, but a 3-family, that area cannot take it. It can't take it at all, and I'm not kidding. Thank you very,
Okay.
very much.
Thank you.
Mrs. Hunt would like to speak. She's the president of our Seville Neighborhood Group.
Sure.
Thank you kindly.
Hi, I'm Pat Hunt. Thank you for letting me speak. I just have a couple of things. Snow removal during the snowstorms. I mean, that area is just so congested. Are the cars going to be, since there's only 1 spot per unit, are they going to be parked in the street? Because if it's 1.5, how do you get a .5 car? That's one, I'm really concerned about that. And we have a huge problem in Centerville with absentee landlords. They buy the places, they rent them out, and we never see them again. And then the neighborhood group and the abutters and the neighbors are fighting back and forth to get these properties maintained, taken care of, and make someone responsible. And we just got approved, we just got all this money to help us try to refurbish the neighborhood, that's true, make things better for the quality of life that people live there, people who live over in that part of Centerville. But as far as congestion, it's just too much. 2-family, great. Maybe have someone responsible that's going to clean it up, but another 3-family, another 3-bedroom, 3-family with 1.5 parking places, it's not going to cut it. They're going to all be out in the street. And that's our concern in insufficient parking, snow removal, and issues we're having with absentee landlords.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Anybody else wishing to speak in opposition? Okay, just a quick question to I guess the broker maybe answer this more quickly. If it were a 2-family, how many bedrooms would be in each unit? Because my assumption is there's a certain amount of bedrooms in the house, and either you're not gonna have fewer bedrooms, whether it's a 2-family or a 3-family.
Correct.
So how many bedrooms would it be if it's a,
Well, he has 3 bedrooms on the top floor, and then the bottom 2 floors would be considered an apartment. So you're looking at 5 to 6 bedrooms, depending how they
Totals.
laid it out.
so if there's a total of 9 possible bedrooms as a 3-family, is it still 9 bedrooms as a 2-family?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, anybody else wishing to address the board on this petition?
Mr. Chairman?
Yep. Oh, Bill, go ahead.
Can I get clarification if this is in a TMF or a TMU zone? The plans say TMF, but that's something else I would like to have.
I believe it's a TMF, but Bob may be able to.
That's actually one of the issues that I'm having with, the application is missing information. It's incomplete. and I'd like to see that updated. The map is showing a TMF, which is a traditional multifamily, I believe. I believe the description on the plot plan that was submitted is correct?
So, per the plot plan, it's a TMF, even with the business next door and the multiple businesses around that street.
Correct.
Right, my understanding, and I looked into that as well, that it was a TMF. If anybody know any different, I'm
Which
willing
is a traditional...
Multifamily, yeah.
Multifamily, traditional neighborhood multifamily, it's stated here in the book.
Right, so your application is kind of scarce as far as information like that, so you've heard from the neighborhood association, you know what their concerns are, and knowing that, I think that, at least from what I'm hearing, it's mostly about parking. And if you're over there, you see that they have a point, it's very congested. So I think your challenge is to see, if we give you a continuance, if that's what the board decides to do, and you're willing to accept the continuance, that you look into that and see what you can do, see what kind of more solid proposals you can come back with the board and somehow address it. But, my feeling is that you have a unit, you have a structure, there's a certain amount of bedrooms in it, no matter what it is. If it's a 4-family, 3-family, 2-family, or 1-family, it's still that many bedrooms, and you can put through Section 8 or whatever you do, you can get that many more people in there, and you're probably going to maximize it no matter what you do. So the more parking that you have one way or the other, I think, is better. So I don't know how much time you need, but my guess is you need a little bit more than a month. I know you're probably, paying for it and not getting any income from it, so it's entirely up to you. But, I think that the board does not have enough information right now to give you a fair shot. I think if we took a vote tonight, I couldn't support it. And I think if you came back and you had a better parking plan, I may be able to. That's just me. I have no idea what anybody else's feeling is, but I agree with the neighborhood association. It's very congested over there. It doesn't look good over there, but I think if you're moving people in there, you're going to be held to the standards that from Section 8 to keep the property up, and they're going to do their inspections and things like that. So I think that's all good. It's going to make it better. But I think you have a huge parking issue that you need to get over. My issue's not so much with the square footage per dwelling unit, because people are going to be living there anyway. So how much time do you think you need?
I have no idea, really. It's like
Well, maybe,
it's like,
Stephanie, when
I
is that?
can apply it.
We can give you 2 weeks. I mean, we meet every 2 weeks, so I'm just,
Mr.
I
Chairman,
believe the next meeting's
All
on
right, we'll take it
September
on.
28th.
it's 3 weeks till the next
our
meeting.
next meeting's actually 3 weeks, is that?
Okay. We'll try. I try to see what's going to happen.
Okay.
I'd also recommend at this point, Mr. Chairman, excuse me, that they notify our department so that we could physically walk through the building to see what's there,
Right.
because there may be some other issues we're not aware of.
Right, and it may be helpful to you to agree to that, have the, work with the building department, let them do a walkthrough, because you may have no idea what problems are in there that you need to have addressed. Because we're gonna, if it ever is considered for approval, we're gonna put conditions on it that are gonna, you may not be able to comply with those conditions unless you fix some things before that. So, that's a good point, and it also request as part of the continuance that you come back with a more definitive plan.
But what should I do? Should I apply for the permit? Because I cannot apply for the permit because before I know how many family I can make it, I cannot apply for any building permit. Should I just go and ask them to come and see the property?
I didn't follow that.
I'm sorry. Should I just go to building department and ask them to come
Well,
and see
if you call Mr. Camacho, Bob Camacho is sitting right here, and if you call his office, and he'll remember who you are, and, he can lead you from there. We want a more definitive application. You don't have to reapply, but you can amend your application so that it makes sense as to what's on your plan. Because if you have a plan that says one thing, and then you did your plan, and then you did your application after that, it doesn't make sense. So if you get us a more definitive package that tells us exactly what you're looking for, so you need some guidance from the building department, and they're very helpful in that regard. So I think if you talk to Mr. Camacho or some of his assistants, they'll be able to walk you through that, get inside the house, send an inspector over, and see what you're dealing with there, which is, I think, a benefit to you. So, when's the next meeting, Stephanie?
14th.
Okay. So do you understand, sir, if the board does grant the continuance, you understand what we're looking for when you come back?
There's nothing
Yes.
scheduled.
Okay.
There's nothing scheduled on the 14th.
Any problems with that?
We have nothing scheduled for the 14th at this point. We have
And
no...
Mr. Chairman, I don't know what he's going to accomplish. He's got several obstacles with the Housing Authority, and it's probably wise you sit down with the neighborhood group as well. And I think the end of September is more realistic in all actuality. I don't know how the other board members feel. September 28th.
Sir, right now, we don't have anything set for that date, so that may be canceled anyway, so rather have everybody come back. If the board agrees, we'll put it on for September 28th. That gives you plenty of time to do what we're asking you to do. Okay? And so I suggest you get going on it right away and, you know, stay in touch with the building department so you have, and show them what you have to make sure that that complies with what we're asking for the next meeting.
Okay.
And I think it's a good suggestion to speak with Mrs. Hunt or Mrs. Page or both, and you know, get their feeling and tell them what your plans for the property are and what you plan on having, what you envision the property to look like when you're done, and what your commitment is to the neighborhood, because that might go a long way.
Okay.
Okay?
And one more, the Housing Authority, if you could be in contact with them and some kind of correspondence on paper would be helpful too, as to acquiring that property.
Okay.
All right, so I guess we need a motion to continue.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to continue to September the 28th, 2009.
Second the motion.
Okay, need a roll call, Stephanie?
Continue to September 28th.
Continue.
Continue to September 28th.
Continue.
Continue to September 28th.
Okay, sir, the matter's been continued unanimously till September 28th. There'll be no further notices. Anybody wishing to address the board is welcome to come that night and readdress the board on any issues that they may have. And I think you know what we're expecting, so we'll see you then.
Okay.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Okay, the next petition is ZB 2009-36. The petition is for a variance. The applicant is 478-486 Moody Street LLC. It's located at 478, 484, and 486 Moody Street. It's in a UMF, urban multifamily zone. The petitioner would like to raise the existing structure and construct a new residential building with insufficient land area per dwelling unit and rear yard setback according to Article 5, Section 5.1, the parking setbacks and the number of parking spaces according to Article 6, Section 6.1. Attorney Flood.
Mr. Geary, where would you like them to set up with plans and whatever? Be easier over there or right there?
I think right there, I can see right there. Can everybody see? Right there, and we have a good set of plans. The plans you gave us are excellent, so the
All
ones
right.
we could see. Are they the same plans?
Yeah, same plans.
Right. So I guess for the television,
Yeah.
you know what, they've been doing it over here for the TV.
Over here? Right here?
Yeah.
Just put over there, John.
Actually, just to the right of you is where they've been doing it, Jim,
Okay.
recently. And we also have a microphone that they
They
can...
can take.
Yeah, I know the camera, Jim, hits right here, so anywhere behind these things are fine.
All right, for the record, my name is James Flood. I'm an attorney, office at 549 Roger Street. I represent 478 to 486 Moody Street LLC. They're the owners of the property before you tonight, and they're affiliated with the Coalition for a Better Acre. As the notice said, the property is zoned UMF, urban neighborhood multifamily, and consists of approximately 17,330 square feet. We're requesting 4 variances: the land area per dwelling unit, the rear yard setback, the setback on the parking lot, and the number of spaces. Before I have, what I'd like to hand out to everybody is I've got 3 letters of support, one from the fellow next door who's developing that 9 family. I have one from Community Teamwork, and one from the House of Hope. So I'd like to hand that out, and I also have a parking survey that was done in the area, very similar to what was done when the church came in for the condos.
Great. Okay, so I'll just reference for the record that we have a letter dated August 11, 2009, addressed to Thomas Lenahan and Stephen Geary, Chairman of the Planning Boards and Board of Appeals. It's signed by David Piscatelli, who's writing in support of the Coalition for Better Acres' proposed 23-unit rental housing on Moody Street, and he recently purchased adjacent property, and he's making significant investment in improving the property. He believes that the ZBA's project is a good one. We next have a letter from Karen N. Frederick, who's the Executive Director of Community Teamwork. It's addressed to Thomas Lenahan and Stephen Geary, Chairman of the Planning Boards and Board of Appeals, and also writing to express CTI's support for this project as well, and agrees that the site is a good site and creates attractive new housing which will contribute significantly toward the well-being of the neighborhood, and they encourage support for the project. Also, I have a letter dated October 3rd, 2009, addressed to Thomas Lenahan and Stephen Geary, Chairman of the Planning Board, and the Board of Appeals, but Deborah Chaucy, who from the House of Hope. She's the Executive Director, and she states that the House of Hope has taken this opportunity to express its support for the development initiative being proposed at the Coalition for a Better Acre. Suggests that the House of Hope operates facilities for homeless families on Merrimack Street, about a block away. They think there's ample parking on the street for this project, and they further believe that the proposed housing will serve the dual purpose of ridding the neighborhood of blight while creating a much-needed affordable housing. The proposed project will be an asset to the city, and they encourage the support of the project. On top of that, we have a parking survey for Moody Street Apartments that shows various pictures of different parking and different times, and that's all going to be part of the record. So,
And I think that the parking survey also shows pictures of the buildings as they exist today for anybody that hadn't gone out there to see it. But as the notice stated, there are two buildings presently on the site, one at 484 to 486 Moody Street and one at 478. We want to tear both of those down and construct a 4-story building for 23 affordable units. There will be 4 one-bedroom units, 11 two-bedroom units, and 8 three-bedroom units. All units will be affordable, and my client intends to keep them affordable in perpetuity. With me tonight is Joe Pesnola, who is our project engineer from Hancock Associates, who will explain the engineering. John Winslow from Winslow Architects, who's our project architect. Madeline Nash from the Coalition for a Better Acre, who can explain the affordability issue, and Jeff Fugate from the CBA, who did the parking study, that can answer any questions. I think you're all familiar with this neighborhood, and you're also familiar with work that the CBA has done in that neighborhood. They did the elementary school, they did the convent. Whatever they do it in a first-class quality fashion. So I think this plan would remove 2 seriously dilapidated and dangerous buildings from the site. Both buildings have been vacant for well over 3 years and have been boarded up, and I think by approving this project, you'll be removing an eyesore from the neighborhood and also a hazard to the city. All our requested variances are necessary because of the size of the lot. Land area per dwelling unit, we are proposing 753 square feet per unit as opposed to 1,000. The client does require 23 units in order for this project to be economically feasible. The rear yard setback, we have 7 feet as opposed to 15. If you look at the property, the present building that's there has no setback, so it's an improvement of what, although it's a variance, it's an improvement of what is presently there today. As to the parking lot setback, it's on the rear portion of the parking lot next to the parking lot for the church. It's a foot as opposed to 3 feet. And as to the number of spaces, we're proposing 16 as opposed to what were required is 46. From experience, though, the coalition feels that the 16 is more than sufficient parking for the people that would be living in the site. And I think, in addition, there is sufficient parking on the street as shown by that parking survey. I think the template for that was set up by the city, the planning department, when Brian McGowan came in with the condominium. So it's kind of based on that. So, I mean, because of the size of the lot, my client would suffer substantial hardship if this was denied, and I think the relief can be granted without detriment to the public good and in conformance with the zoning. I know it's hot. I want to get everyone moving, so I think I'll turn it over at this point to Joe Pesnola, who can explain the engineering, and then we'll go to John Winslow, then to Madeline, and then to Jeff, and then we'll answer any questions that the board has.
And Jim, just for when we get to the voting side, the variances, so we take them one at a time. There's a variance, landscape variance you're requesting.
No, there isn't. That's the, if you look at the back, it's not a landscape variance. It's land area. There was a typo on the front.
Okay.
It's land area per dwelling unit.
Okay, so land area per dwelling unit, rear yard setback to
Yeah.
building, and a parking variance.
Parking variance. There's two parking variances. One for the setback, you need 3 feet from the abutting property. We have a foot. It's on the rear portion. Joe can point it out on the plan of the parking lot, and then on the number of spaces necessary.
Okay, when we get to that stage, just make sure that, we want to make sure we take those
Yeah,
one at a
separate.
time in that order, and that we properly address them, so
All right.
there's no technicality. Okay?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Again, for the record, Joe Pesnola from Hancock Associates. We performed the land surveying and the civil engineering for the project. We did a full boundary, existing conditions, utility survey for the property. As Attorney Flood said, it's got 17,330 square feet as far as land area, plenty of frontage along Moody Street. To the south, there's an empty parking lot that's associated with the church. To the north, there's the multi-story building that's being, multi-unit building that's being rehabbed. Our proposal calls for siting the building to the southerly part of the site. The side yard setback requirement is 3 feet. We've got 5.5 feet. There is no front yard setback, but we're setting the building 5 feet to be able to get the entryways and sidewalk improvements done. And to the north, we've got 76 feet that gives us the ability to put a somewhat fully compliant 16-car parking lot in there that'll have 1 handicap space and 15 standard spaces, an area for dumpster and recycling, and an area areas for snow storage. As far as the parking lot setbacks, it meets the setback to the building. It meets the setback to Moody Street. It meets the setback to the abutter to the north. It's just in the area, and I'll move to the plan. In the area of the parking that's along the building, the lot up on Merrimack kind of juts into this lot, and at that very corner there, against the building, we have 1 foot instead of the required 3. But on the other side, we've got plenty of setback and area for landscaping and snow storage, and we meet the requirements. We are also making some technical improvements to the site. There is a sewer line that comes through the site that services several properties, up on Merrimack Street. It actually comes under the building on Merrimack Street directly behind us, and then runs diagonally through the site. We've worked with the city engineer's office, and we're going to relocate that line as it comes through our property, establish it in an easement to the city because it does benefit other citizens of the city, and make sure that it's properly functioning to the degree that we have that we'll be working on that portion of the sewer. With regard to drainage, we are in an area that has a combined stormwater and sanitary sewer on Moody Street. And as is always the case with new development, although this is redevelopment, we consider it new development, we're taking all of the drainage on site and handling it on site through an underground infiltration system. We did some soil testing out there, witnessed by the city engineering department, and we've got a system design that will take care of everything on site. As far as grading, we're really not proposing much grading change. We will have a handicap entrance off of the parking lot. We will have entrances off of Moody Street, or an entrance off of Moody Street, and we will be making repairs and upgrades to the sidewalk as we pass along the frontage. There are several curb cuts there, several areas of depressed sidewalk. That'll all be rehabilitated, curbing put in, and the sidewalk improved. So overall, I think we're making great improvements to a blighted area, or a couple of blighted sites. That's a general overview of the engineering. I'll turn it over to Mr. John Winslow, the architect, to go over the details of the architecture of the proposed building.
Before John speaks, I forgot to mention that we did appear in front of the planning board last Monday night, and they approved it on a 5-0 vote, and I think they said they had sent over the decision. I don't know whether you've gotten it. Yeah.
I did, I brought that.
Okay, and
so
they did place some conditions, so in the event that you did vote in favor of this, you'd have to include those conditions, so I just wanted to point that out. Okay. John?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is John Winslow, Winslow Architects. We're the architects for this project. The building that we've designed here, as all buildings should be, grows out of a serious interaction with our client and with the site to determine what can work well. As you know, there's a very urgent need for housing, so there was a density issue, and so the question became, what kind of a building can we put on the site that conforms and is compatible with the nature of the neighborhood. So the building, as you see over here on the drawing, is the same building that you have. I think you have a smaller version of. It's a 4-story building. The building matches the height. Is this on? The building matches the height of the adjacent building to the right, which is a 4-story building currently being renovated as, I believe it's 12 units of condominium. It's 15 units, I'm sorry. Yeah, 12, it's the 12 unit, I think previously referred to as 9 units. It's a 12-unit building to the right, 4-story building. We attempted in this building in achieving the density that we needed to get, to break the massing down so that it had more of a scale of the typical, I guess we call it triple or quadruple decker in this case, which is typical of buildings in that area. And we did that through the massing of the building in 2 ways. We designed it basically in almost as if it's 3 buildings, and we staggered the buildings to pick up on what Joe said. The entry of the building is actually pulled back further from the street than 5 feet. It's the red wings on the side are 5 feet. We've set the entry back a little further to make a more of a pleasant entry courtyard. The other thing we did, we are proposing, it's a very traditional siding, which is clapboard and shingle siding, but we are proposing that it be what's referred to as a cementitious siding. I don't know if the board wants to get into materials here, but it's a very traditional appearing material. It's sustainable, and its long-term maintenance capabilities gives it a great advantage. And we're suggesting that we use color also as a way of breaking down the massing of the building. So you can see we're suggesting, it was asked previously, are those the exact colors? I can't say that it's going to be decided it's going to be red and yellow, but there will be a lot of conversation about that. But the point that we're making here is that again, to try to make a building that blends into the neighborhood, to break the scale down of the building. So we've done that with color as well as massing. It's a 4-story building. It's an elevator building. The upper 3 floors are 6 units per floor. The first floor is 5 units per floor, plus a community room and a laundry facility. There's a fully handicap accessible unit on the first floor. We have a handicap accessible ramp entering directly into the building from the parking lot on the side. And there is also a community gathering area, if you want to call it that, in the back of the building, an outdoor area that is also has access by a ramp coming off the community room itself. The units are all affordable housing, as Madeline will talk about. They're fairly standard in size. You know, the 1-bedrooms are 650 to 750, I believe, square feet. The 2-bedrooms are 850 to 950 square feet. The 3-bedrooms are around 1,150 square feet. I think I'm going to leave it at that. I know that there's a lot of people who speak. I'm happy to answer any questions about the building. I think the main point we want to make is that we feel this is a building that can fit into the neighborhood. We've worked very hard to make it fit into the neighborhood. I would like to point out also that it does look out across the street. There's a park that, as you know, is being developed now, which so we would like to think of this building in its neighborhood context in addition to its exact site context. We know that space is tight, but it fits into a neighborhood that has a park going up, and we think it's an appropriate response and appropriate use for that site.
Okay, thank you. I guess just for the engineer, the 3 things you're requesting are the 8-foot relief from the rear. I'm just trying to get this straight in my mind exactly.
Yes, the rear setback is 15 feet. We are proposing 7, so it's 8 feet of relief. The existing structure at, I believe it's 484 is 1 foot off of.
Right, it's right there, okay.
Yeah.
And then the other one is the parking from the required 46 pursuant to how many units you have, the 23, and you have 16 spots, so
16.
you're looking for the relief there,
Yes.
and you've explained where that could be. And I guess the third request for the variance is the square foot per dwelling unit, is that?
Yes.
So it's
At 17,330 square feet, we have 753 square feet per unit, and the requirement in this zone is 1,000.
Can you describe the unit a little? Like, is it more efficient as opposed to, can you get almost the same out of 753 these days when you design it as you could previously for 1,000? I mean, with a...
I'll let the
Okay.
architect speak to that. Oh, the fourth variance is that setback to parking in the rear. The requirement is 3 feet, and we're proposing at that one corner, I guess you'd call it the southwest corner of the parking lot, is 1 foot.
So the requirement is 4 feet, and you have...
3 feet.
So 3 feet request.
The requirement is 3 feet. We're requesting 1 foot, so 2 feet of relief.
2 foot relief, okay. So 3 to 1 with 2, okay. Okay.
I'd like to address that last question before I have Madeline speak to the overall development. The square footage, the 753 square feet you're referring to, doesn't have to do with the unit size. It has to do with the land area per unit. So that it's not like the unit is designed to 753 square feet. Those are 2 separate computations. And so,
Okay. All right.
Madeline Nash can speak to the development.
Hi, I'm Madeline Nash. I'm the Director of Real Estate Development for the Coalition for a Better Acre. And also tonight we have Emily Weitzman-Rosenbaum, our Executive Director, and Suzanne Frechette, our Deputy Director. But since I'm the project manager for the project, I'm the one speaking tonight. We are very excited about our proposal. We've been looking at this property for many years. Our offices are across the street, and we have spent many years trying to improve the neighborhood. one property at a time, targeting what we see as the most blighted buildings in the neighborhood. And these properties on Moody Street are indeed very blighted and very problematic for the folks that live in the area. We've seen all sorts of undesirable activities over there over the years, and we've really been desperate to try to do something about it. So we were very excited when we had the opportunity to purchase the properties, and we're very excited about the opportunity to create new and attractive, affordable rental housing there. We spent a lot of time on the design, as John Winslow said, trying to create housing that we thought would complement the existing uses. We are also going to maximize energy efficiency and incorporate other green technology designs into our property, as we try to do with all of our properties. When we develop housing, we really try to make a high-quality product. And as a result, it's expensive. And that's part of the reason why we're here tonight requesting relief. Our property will be 100% affordable. The 23 units all will be set aside for lower income households. Within that restriction, there will be different levels of economic need. The upper income limit is 60% of the area median income. And to give you an idea of what that means for a family of 4, that's an income limit of $51,000 a year. So those families with that kind of an income will be working families. We also have designated 6 of the units to be for families with only 30% of the area median income. And to give you an idea of that, for a family of 4, that's an income limit of around $25,000. This is part of our mission to address what we see as a real need in the city of Lowell to create high quality but affordable rental housing. And as Jim Flood mentioned, our intent is to keep the housing affordable long term. The need for the number of units is related to the high cost of the housing development. We work with subsidies from the state, but those are issued on a per unit basis as opposed to a per project basis. So when we come forward with a proposal, we need to try to maximize the number of units to cover our development costs, while at the same time trying to create housing that we think will fit into the existing uses. And that's how we came up with the 23 units. In regards to parking, which I think is another issue that you would be concerned with our proposal, we did look at what are the parking needs of our existing residents. The Coalition for a Better Acre owns and manages 380 rental units in the city of Lowell. And we know that approximately 66% of our households have cars. We own and manage the North Canal apartment property across the street from the subject property that we're talking about tonight. They have 267 apartments there. Only 178 of them have cars. We redeveloped the St. Joseph's Apartments property across the street. That is 15 units, and only 11 of those households have cars. So we're confident that the 16 parking spaces will meet the needs of our future residents. At the same time, we looked at the availability of on-street parking in the neighborhood. And Jeff Fugate, our project manager, went out and took photographs of the available parking in the evening, and we handed that out to you. We used the format that the Lowell Planning Department used when they were considering the redevelopment of the church property on Merrimack Street. And we found that there is indeed a great deal of available on-street parking. If you look at the numbers, just for example on Moody Street, at 5:30 in the evening, there were 51 vacant parking spaces, and that's just right near the property that we're talking about. So there was a total, again, referring to this handout, there were a total of 174 parking spaces at 5:30 in the evening. So we're confident that if there was a need for more than 16 parking spaces for some reason, that our residents would have plenty of opportunity to park on the street. We feel that, I just want to reiterate some of the things I said again, and that other people have mentioned. The playground across the street offers opportunity for open space for both passive and active recreation. There's going to be a new basketball court there, but there's also just green space. Our property management company, Maloney Properties, their offices are across the street in the same building where our offices are. So this property that we're proposing will be professionally managed. Our eyes will be on it on a regular basis, so we can make sure that it's well taken care of. And we know that there's a high level of demand for this type of housing. Just as an example, when we developed the 15 units at the St. Joseph's Apartments, the former St. Joseph's Elementary School, 15 apartments, we had over 200 applications for those 15 units. So we know that there is a high level of demand for this type of housing, and that's another reason why we try to maximize the number of units that we can create. So any questions you might have, I'd be happy to take.
Okay. All right, anybody else wishing to address the board?
I think that concludes what we have, Mr.
Okay.
Chairman.
Bill, anything?
Well, I guess my first comment will be very well done presentation. I know you answered a lot of the questions I had. I was kind of honing in on the parking, but you kind of beat that up pretty good. Attorney Flood, just a quick question to you. The handout, this handout here that shows the vacant existing parking area, is that, which is adjacent to the 16 parking spaces, is that?
That's the church. No, it's not?
No.
That's
opposite side.
that's the condo.
Okay, so that's what's shown on your plans, the land of Moody Street condominium?
Right.
There's nothing currently there right now, correct?
No.
Okay.
They're renovating that building.
Or is that at 500 Moody Street? Is the current construction at 500?
Who's, Joe, your plan, so?
Yeah, the vacant lot that is directly to the kind of north of that is all owned by the Moody Street condominium, which is the building that's being rehabbed. So I think what they're envisioning is that'll be their parking area.
Okay, that's, because the parking in general, that's what I'm looking at. You know, there's a lot of great things going on down there, but then I'm saying, it was nice to get the study on the parking. Obviously, I would expect utilization to increase on the street if there's going to be more development down there, which, you know, is probably a good thing. But I think you have opportunity to utilize more of the city streets. And I also believe that I think we can cover ourselves on the parking. When I took a ride down there, that was the first thing when I was looking at the parking in general. Where were people going to park? But again, I think the board addressed that. The number of spots that people do get. Speaking of the 16 spaces, are the spots dedicated to any units, or is it first come, first serve?
The policy of our property management company is not to designate them. It's more on a first come, first serve,
Okay.
especially because so many of the households don't have cars. That seems to work best. Yeah, but they'll all have stickers, so only residents with
Okay.
leases
How many?
and who can prove that they own a vehicle can park.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
How many spaces are dedicated to handicap?
there'd be one. There's one handicap accessible unit
Yep.
and one handicap parking space.
Okay. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. I think it's a great project. I think it'll be great for the area, and that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, Vesna.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. I do concur with Bill. That is a well-prepared plan and presented. I learned of CBA quite some time, and when they have a support of CTI and other people in the city, they earn that. And I think there certainly is a need for more affordable housing I'm happy to hear that is 100% affordable housings given to those who really need it. I wouldn't be surprised that you have as many applicants as you can possibly serve. I'm sure you will continue to do this type of project, and this area certainly do need a lot of this building do need to be taken down and repaired, and the way you repair it certainly is commendable. I do recognize that the parking is a problem. Here you have, you need 46, you only have 16, and you said give us 30. With this area and with the number of affordable, the income people that are coming into this location, I'm confident that the 16 space and off-street parking should address the parking concern. So I have no other questions except those comments, and I'm in full support of this petition.
Thanks, Vesna. Corey?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chairman. I couldn't agree more with my fellow board members. This is really an outstanding project. After taking a ride down there this afternoon to see those dilapidated buildings boarded up, I mean, this is great, really is. And I would like to commend the Coalition for a Better Acre. Frankly, I wish your organization reached out further than the acre, to be honest with you, because you've done a fantastic job down there, and you most certainly have made a difference in that area, and I commend you for that. But to see this, as Mr. Noon, to echo his comments, to see all affordable units to families, it would definitely be a benefit. As far as your parking variance, which seems to be the big issue here, I think 16 spaces is adequate, definitely for the for what's going on here. So I commend you all, everybody involved. It's a great project. I wholeheartedly support it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Corey. Kevin?
I echo the sentiments of other board members and the quality of this project and the need for this kind of development in the area, so it's commendable. A couple of questions on the plan through you, Mr. Chairman. The surveyor's plan, there's some differences on the parking layout compared to the site plan and the diagram here. Which is the correct plan? It looks like there's the dumpster is cited differently in this survey plan.
Our plans, the Hancock Associates plans, are the plans that were approved by the planning board without change. So they are the plans of record, and as far as what the board is acting upon tonight, it's those plans or our site plan from Hancock Associates.
Okay. So regarding the Hancock Associates plan, to the rear of the property opposing the dumpster, it looks like is that a real parking space? It looks like it's a bit of a wedge shape. I'm just questioning if that's
just a snow storage area.
Okay. And then the spot right prior to that, is that a green space or is that an actual parking space?
Adjacent to the dumpster?
On the other side, closest to the building. There's a shaded space. I'm not sure if
right. There's a striped area that'll be the van.
That's the handicap.
The van handicap space.
I see.
And then the two spaces together. The striped out area that's 8 feet wide, and the adjacent space that's 8 feet wide makes up the van accessible space.
Got it. Okay. And there is some grade from the rear of the property forward to the street. You mentioned a drainage plan. Are you having catch basins in the parking lot to manage?
Yeah, the parking lot will have a system of catch basins and an underground infiltration area. The roof drainage will also go into that, and there is a kind of a low pocket in the back near the patio, and we'll have another catch basin back there that'll be piped out around to that same system. So we're taking care of drainage all the way around the building.
And you've done tests in terms of the soil?
We've done soil testing witnessed by the city's engineering department, and we've provided to the engineering department full supporting calculations for that system design.
Okay. With regard to the affordable housing in perpetuity, is the way I heard it, how is that going to be kind of legally addressed? Is that an easement on the deed?
There'll be a deed rider put on the property when the financing goes through with the Commonwealth. They require it, so that there'll be a deed rider that'll be recorded.
Okay. Thank you. No further questions.
Okay, Rick, anything?
Through you, Mr. Chairman. I echo my fellow board members' comments. Finally, we're gonna be getting rid of a piece of blight down there and doing something good with it. I do have a question about parking, the same as everybody else does. Is there any possibility if it is needed, that we could use other spaces that the coalition has control of as overflow? You know, not as permanent, but if there was need for an overflow, you could say you'd have to park elsewhere, or you could park at one of the other properties.
We know that, that there is available parking across the street at the North Canal property. And so, you know, we have spoken to our property management company, and they've said, you know, if need be, if there's unusual circumstances, which we don't anticipate, that parking would be available.
Okay, thank you. That was the only situation I have with Mr. Flood. It's a great project out there, and again, getting rid of some blighted buildings, and the building next door actually being rehabbed is a good sight to see, finally, down there. I'm in favor of this project. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, anybody here wishing to speak in opposition of this petition, in opposition? Please step up, ma'am. Could you state your name and your address for the record, please?
My name is Miriam Bond. I live at 70 Austin Street in the condominium complex known as Austin Square. So my unit actually faces Aiken Street, and my view, I see the, will see this planned project from my living room and from my upstairs bedroom when it's built. I don't have a posse here, I don't have a lawyer, I don't have a lot of letters, and I'm feeling rather uncertain that there's even a point to my voicing my opposition in light of the wholehearted support that's already been voiced by a majority of the zoning board members. Nevertheless, I want to point out that, one, I'm not as convinced as the architect that the project is in fitting with the feel of the neighborhood. I think it's actually going to very much change the feel of Moody Street. If you would look across the street, you would see that there's a series of sort of townhouse-style apartments that are 2.5 stories high. You would see the St. Joseph's project, which is 4 stories high, but is set very far back from the street so that it doesn't have that imposing street facade. You would see the abutting building that is going to be that is in the process of rehabilitation, which is 4 stories high, but faces the street with its narrow end, so it does not have a large, massive street presence as this will. The buildings that this is replacing, it's 2 buildings, so there's a space in the middle. One of the buildings, the one that would be on the right in that picture, is 2 stories high at the street. The other building is 3 stories high at the street. The total width of the 2 buildings and the space between them is less than the width of that. I think if you saw that building, and it's very attractive, but not on its own, but in a scale of the whole block, you'd see that it's and to compare it to what's there, you'd see that it's actually quite a massive facade, and it will actually change the nature of the street, the view. It will reduce the amount of greenery that's visible, and it is not a wide street, so this building will be more than twice as tall as the street is wide, and I think it will change the feel of the street. I wanted to speak to the density issue. The variance that's being requested is quite significant. It is for 23 units as opposed to 17 that the zoning would allow. So this is not a 5 or 10% variance. This is a variance of over 35%. That's more than a third than the zoning would allow. And I might mention that today, as I went over again to look at the property, there was yet another accident at the corner of Moody and Aiken. I think over the past 3 months, we've averaged at least one every 3 weeks. I don't know what's going on there this summer, but I think that's another consideration if you're going to bring a lot more population with with more density than the zoning allows. You're going to have more cars, you're going to have more pedestrians. I don't really know if that's appropriate, but really my objection is to the density. I don't think it's in keeping with the neighborhood, and I know it is not a function of this board, but I also do think that the building, the way it's designed, though attractive, is not the right building for that space. It will very much change the aesthetic. Well, I don't want to refer to the present buildings as being attractive. We all know that they're not, and we all will be happy to see them come down, but it will very much change the feel of the street, reduce the amount of trees that are visible from the street, and reduce the trees that will be removed. There's not really going to be a possibility to replace them with trees that would provide shade and visible green from the street. They can be replaced, but they wouldn't really affect the street. And as for the parking, yes, it seems at first glance to be really not enough. Apparently, the surveys have been done and everybody seems to be in agreement that it will be enough. I'm not going to try to contradict that. I'm just wondering kind of what it says about your views of the future of the people who are going to be living there. I guess you don't anticipate that there will be a lot of two-earner families that probably need transportation in order to get to work. But, you know, my main concern is really the density and the facade. And I just want to reiterate that it is more than a third. It's 35%, over 35% above what the zoning allows for density. So that's it. I'm writing my name. And
Okay, thank you for your comments, ma'am. Anybody else wishing to speak in opposition? In opposition? Okay, anybody, can I see a show of hands of those who are interested in speaking as a proponent, who in support of this project? Okay, so the board counts around 14 hands. Rather than, because of how hot it is in here, and if you could choose a couple of representatives to come up and basically say what you're all kind of thinking, it might help to expedite things. Excuse, you have to step up to the podium, ma'am.
may I just add one little?
No, go ahead, ma'am, you can finish.
I do appreciate that many people have sent letters and many people will be speaking out in favor. But I do represent a minority in the neighborhood, that I both own and live in the neighborhood, and I intend to stay there. I don't believe that the authors of the letters who support the project actually live in the neighborhood. And I'm a minority in the neighborhood, and I just wanted to put that out there.
How long have you lived in the neighborhood?
2 years coming October.
Okay.
Could I have, my name is Emily Rosenbaum. I'm the executive director of Coalition for a Better Acre, the project sponsor. Could I have a show of hands of how many people live in the acre who came tonight? Those of you who live in the acre, you all live in the acre? Okay. Myrna Carrasco is going to speak as an acre resident, and Deb Chaussee from the House of Hope, who runs a program in the neighborhood.
Okay.
Hi, good evening. My name is Myrna Carrasco, and I live on 19 James Street in Moody in Lowell. As a resident of the acre in Lowell, I support CBA for the new development proposal to build 23-unit affordable housing. I see that as an opportunity for family who has low income. Why? Because as a single mother who has bill to pay, put food on the table, and pay rent, I can afford a regular market rate apartments, getting an annual income under $30,000 a year. My desires and goal is to live in a decent and healthy, affordable environment in the community of Lowell. I believe and know that there is a lot of family in the same situation as me that would like to have a quality environment as well. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else wishing to address the board?
Good evening. My name is Deb Chassé. I live at 10 Dayton Street in Lowell. I'm the executive director at House of Hope and a neighbor to this proposed project. So I speak in strong support for this housing because high quality and affordable housing will be a gain for the 23 individuals or families that rent it, but it will also be agreeable for the area as high quality, well-managed housing raises the bar for an entire neighborhood by increasing pride, accountability, activity, and ownership across the board. I know firsthand how difficult it is for many families to find quality housing that is affordable. Day-to-day costs like food, transportation, childcare, utilities, and clothing quickly consume household income. Providing renters with housing that is affordable with predictable rents is critical to their economic stability. And just recently, the Coalition for a Better Acre proved that bringing new renters into a neighborhood can do much to stabilize and improve communities. The St. Joseph apartments are beautiful, well-managed, and integrated into the neighborhood, bringing appropriate activity to an area that was previously desolate. Moody Street housing will continue to energize this little block. Lastly, I know from House of Hope's experience that building to high standards is costly because House of Hope spent over $2 million to build 11 units of housing at 203 Salem Street just over 5 years ago. However, we got what we paid for. For this building, known as New Hope Apartments, looks better today than it did when we first opened our doors. I am confident that the multiple funding sources of this proposed building will hold the CBA to the same exacting, professional, and costly construction standards. In the end, these standards will ensure a building that will be highly functionable and attractive and a gift to our neighborhood and beyond for many, many years. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else wishing to address? Go ahead, sir.
My name is Elkin Montoya. I live on 1521 Varnum Ave. I lived about 20 years on Moody Street before I moved out. I just wanted to reflect to you the quality of work at CBA. I'm also the president of the CBA. Before I continue, I would like to ask you how many more people would you like us to speak today on behalf of supporting this proposal?
Well, I think the board recognizes that you have this whole group of people here supporting it, so
Right.
if everybody's going to basically say the same thing,
Okay.
we understand the need for affordable housing. That's really not the standard for what the board addresses
I
here.
just want to clear out some of the concerns that the lady who came in opposition of this is that the neighborhood has been all along, as you all know, affordable housing and density has always been there. But we are trying to change that since Coalition for Better Acre has been in assistance. We've been trying to change that all along, as well as in the area of Adams Street. And I just wanted to let you know, we're always thinking of the best interest of the neighborhood, not the money that we're going to make on it, because we don't make that. We are a nonprofit organization. So I just wanted to make sure that, thank you for recognizing the work we have done in the past. As a board, as a 20-something years on the board and president of the board, I appreciate the recognition you gave us of the well-built and affordable housing that we have. I just wanted to ask you, would you like us to have one more board member speak or a resident?
Sure, that's fine, go ahead.
Okay. Mark, would you like to speak? And then we'll have another.
Hi, Mark.
Hi. For the record, my name is Mark Goldman, 58 Oakland Street, Lowell, Mass. You have to excuse my voice this evening. I'm on the board of the CBA. I just want to make 3 points, and there's studies that have been done. One of the things the Lowell Planning Board and the ZBA always talk about is neighborhood character. That's very important. We heard that earlier this evening. And the acre development and revitalization plan, which was done around 1999, 2000, the Lowell master plan that was done in 2001, and the Upper Merrimack Street study that was done in 2007, 2 years ago, deal with that. And it fits into the character of what this project is about. And I urge the board to support and vote in favor of all the variances. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Okay, anybody else? Sir? Go ahead.
My name is Rasi. I'm just going to translate for them quickly.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm doing wrong.
My name Dina Nyo.
You're going to have to stand right next to her, I think.
Okay. Her name is Dina Nyong.
Yep.
Okay. I
live 87 Salam Street.
Bong Kwa Kha Dai Dai by Mao Chong Chup Pinio.
Nhâm chẳng bàn an housing.
I'm sorry, I'm going to do a little bit of translation.
Yeah, you want to just read what she wrote, if that's easy for you?
Yeah, that's fine, sir. Her name is Dinat Nyer, and she lives at 87 Salem Street in Lowell. And she's here to support CBA in this affordable housing that we're trying to build on Moody Street here. She felt that there's a great demand for this type of affordable housing. And I'm just going to read off here. I know that there's a lot of people who are waiting for applying for this type of housing. That's including herself, her friends and families are waiting for this kind of property to be built. And I have here, she has the same agreement. Her name is Christina. Yeah.
So you're just going to have to step closer to the mic. You are, sir, if you're reading
I'm sorry. Sorry. The same script.
Take your time.
Her name is Christina Yat. She lives on 444 Merrimack Street in Lowell. And she's also in supporting of this affordable housing that's being built on Moody Street. So we just wanted to come here to at least show that there's a definite, not just for the acre area as in for Hispanic, but also for the Asian community that also needs this affordable housing. And that's why they're here to at least show faces that, we do need affordable housing in the neighborhood.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
I think that's probably it.
Okay. All right. I think Corey wanted to address the board.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I forgot to mention one thing, that if this were to get approved, I think we're all in support of this thing for the most part, but I would like to adopt the conditions set forth by the planning board. I think they worked very diligently on this, and they made some good points, and I would like to adopt those conditions.
Okay, we can do that.
I think the zoning says you have to anyway.
Yeah, all right. Makes it easy. Okay, anything else, Jim?
No, that's it.
All right. So the first, I guess the variance, if we take them in order, because we want to make the record clear as to the variance. So the first one would be for the minimum rear yard setback. The required is 15, the provided is 7, and the relief is 8. So I need a motion.
Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the variance for the minimum rear yard setback.
Second the motion.
And I need a roll call, Stephanie, please.
Approve.
Approve?
Approve.
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 And the second variance would be for parking. That's the required space pursuant to the amount of units is 46. Provided is 16.
Yep.
And the relief is for 30. And I need a motion on that.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the parking variance.
Second the motion.
And I need a roll call, Stephanie.
Approve.
Approve?
Approve.
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 And we'll take the other parking variance, that's for the setback to parking in the rear, where it's provided, or required 3 feet, the provided is, 3 units, the provided is 1, so looking for relief of 2. Motion?
Make a motion to approve the rear parking setback.
Second the motion.
And need a roll call.
Approve.
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 And the final one is, oh, sorry, go ahead. Did you miss somebody, or did I interrupt you?
Approve.
Sorry, Rick. And the final one is for the lot area per dwelling. The required is 1,000 square feet per dwelling unit, and the provided is 753 square feet per dwelling unit, for relief of 247 square feet per dwelling unit. Need a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the variance for the lot area per dwelling.
Second the motion.
And roll call, Stephanie?
Approve.
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 Okay, I think that covers all your variances. So you've been approved, all 4 variances unanimously. I just need to, Jim, if you could hand these documents to Stephanie to be part of the record, and good luck with your Okay, great, that's, all you need to do is sign this plan, and just anywhere, and date it. Well, okay, thank you folks for coming, good luck with your project.
Thanks, Rusty.
The final order of business for the board is approval of minutes for the May 27th meeting, as well as the May 11th meeting, and has everybody had an opportunity to review these?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
All in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None opposed? Both sets of minutes are approved. May 27th, 2009, and May 11th, 2009. Is there any further business, Mr. Clerk?
No, there's not, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Need a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.